Turning up.
I can't hear you. There you go.
Oh. Little lag on my side, but we're back with Prelim Tim, ready to attack the bookies for Dana White's Contender Series, Week 3. First live stream for Dana White's Contender Series. Thankfully, Prelim Tim can co-host the show here. He's been ready to go, but time is very hard to come across nowadays, Prelim Tim. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good. If you guys haven't heard on the other show we do, I'm moving from New Jersey to Florida this week on Thursday. So we're packing up our entire apartment right now. So I've been busy. This card was a little bit harder to study than the last one. So I wish we were actually talking about last week's card because that one was great. I was super confident. This one has some tougher fights, but I think I've got it figured out.
Yeah, tough fights. Couple wide odds looking at it. Wondering if any underdogs are live this week. Last week, we had one underdog. It was a 50-50 fight, Cam Roston. I swept that event. How did you do last week, week 2?
Yeah, I swept it also. I think I got over 19 units profit. I hit some parlays. It was a good one.
Oh, yeah. This week is going to be a little tougher. I already predicted the full card for everybody earlier in the week, and I started it off with Donte Johnson to win the fight by knockout. Not overly confident here. Darion Abbey, he's fought at bare knuckle boxing. He has a lot of experience, but he gets knocked down in a lot of his fights that he wins. He got knocked out in 3 out of his 4 losses. I don't trust his durability in this fight. I got to go with the favorite, undefeated. He doesn't have 4 losses. He should be able to find the knockout, but anything can happen on a Tuesday night. What do you think, Tim?
Yeah, I actually have an underdog pick on this one, but kind of like how you're saying, I'm not very confident because of Darion Abbey's durability doesn't look good. We've seen him get hurt a lot of times. He's been knocked out 3 times, but he's been knocked out by some decent competition. Like he's fought in Bellator. He fought who's this guy that he fought? Hold on, sorry. Steve Mowry. He fought Steve Mowry in Bellator, and I was actually at that event. It was in Connecticut, and I was sitting cage side. It's like the closest I've ever sat for a fight. But so I saw him get knocked out in that one. But the difference in this matchup is that he's 6'6", and Donte Johnson's only 6 feet tall. And Johnson fought half of his career, which is only 5 fights at this point. But I think his first 3 fights were at light heavyweight, and now they're going up to heavyweight for this one. So I think Abbey should be a lot bigger. I think Johnson's a lot more aggressive and a lot more dangerous in style, but I don't think he looks very UFC level at all. Not to say that Abbey necessarily does either. I don't think either of these guys really needs to be in the UFC, but I think one of them probably will get a contract because I think the fight ends in knockout more than likely. But because of Abbey's experience level and because I don't think Johnson looks very polished, I think he's just very aggressive and swings hard. I'm going to go with Abbey because it's at plus 250. So you're getting good odds for a much bigger guy. He's got like a 7 or 8 inch reach advantage and different styles. Like he'll be more patient and he'll be more defensive. I think if one of these guys grapples, it's going to be Abbey. So there's enough advantages that I think he could pull it off, especially for that kind of odds. But I understand the thought that Johnson wins by knockout. I think that is very possible too.
Yeah, when Darion gets hit and people start landing the damage, he starts to shoot those takedowns, starts to wrestle, and it works for him some of the time. But Donte is very powerful, and he is going to go for it round one, I would say. Every win for him so far, round one KO, but the level of competition 3-11, 6-7, 3-0. He's very green in his MMA career. Like you said, I don't think either fighter is UFC ready yet. I don't think they get the contract with the win. If Donte gets the knockout win, obviously they might give him a contract, but heavyweight is not the weight class for him. I don't think he's a very filled out heavyweight. Like you said, Darion Abbey, 6'6". He's a bigger frame. He's a filled out heavyweight, and he has the range in this fight, which could be difficult for Donte Johnson, who really hasn't seen a fighter like this at heavyweight. So plus money on Darion Abbey could be live, and let's respect the money coming in. Bookies have dropped the price from plus 287 and plus 275. It's all the way down to plus 200 now, Prelim Tim.
Yeah, so I got a small line move. I think I got it at plus 250. So I made a little bit of money on that already.
Yeah, some line movement in this first fight of the night. We're on opposite sides. So let's see how it goes. It's a heavyweight slugfest fight. We're tuning in Tuesday night. Let's keep going. Who do you have in this fight, Prelim Tim?
This one I'm going with the favorite. I like Sousa. But the thing about this fight is I like both of these guys. It's kind of different than the first fight. I think both of those guys in the first fight, I really don't want to see them in the UFC. Both of these guys, I'm interested to see them in the UFC. They could be very different, but I liked Cristian Perez a lot. I watched his fights first, and I was very impressed with him. He's definitely more of a striker. He's younger, and he's got a lot of confidence, it seems. He likes to talk trash to his opponents. I saw him knock somebody out cold and talk shit over his unconscious body. So he's pretty ruthless. But he's a good striker. He kind of throws at the end. He throws at the end of his punches. Like, he uses his range very well. And then when you look at Sousa, he's a less polished striker. He's pretty wild on the feet. He's pretty wide open. I could see him getting tagged by Perez. But the real difference is that Sousa has fought better people in his career. He fought Gabriel Santos, who also Jose Delano fought from last week, fought Gabriel Santos and lost to him. And Sousa lost to Gabriel Santos also. And we saw Delano look amazing last week on the Contender series. So I'm thinking we might see kind of a similar outcome with a common opponent. The real difference is that Sousa's grappling. It looks like it's on a much more higher level than Perez. From what I saw out of Perez, I don't expect him to be able to handle the type of grappling that I saw Sousa pulling off, both from bottom position and top position. He looks very comfortable. He played a lot of like bottom half. He was sweeping and coming on top, and he didn't seem to get tired. So having really good grappling cardio can often be an advantage. And I think the combination of a strength of schedule and experience, also with a grappling advantage, should be enough for him to win this fight. So it's not the most confident pick on the card because I do think Perez is good, but I'm expecting Sousa to win.
Yeah, I expect him to win. And his loss was to Archie Colgan, undefeated fighter there. The Gabriel Santos loss was Barbosa's loss. I think you mistake that one there. But Manuel Sousa, he also beat Marcio Ruffy earlier on in his career. He had a nice knockout win to Tim Wild there at Bellator.
Yeah.
He has power on the feet. He has finishing capabilities. His style works for him. He walks forward, and he seems to be pretty durable. Archie Colgan beat him with the wrestling. That seems to be his not his best strength, but he needs to work on the grappling in this fight. I don't think Cristian Perez is going to try to grapple, so he's fine. He's going to get a fighter that wants to strike, wants to fight. And I honestly think Sousa finds a finish, Prelim Tim, in this fight. Likely on the feet. Likely on the feet. He's too powerful, and he's fought the upper echelon competition it's going to be too much.
Yeah, I did mix up Sousa
punches and bunches.
Yeah, I mixed up Sousa and Barbosa, so sorry about that. But Archie Colgan is a great wrestler. You and I know, are both big fans of Archie Colgan. So I don't think that's a bad mark on Sousa's grappling. I think Colgan's just really hard to deal with. I think Sousa is actually a pretty good grappler. But I believe it was Perez I saw run across the cage and go straight into a leg lock at the start of one of his fights. So he has grappling too. I just didn't see anything that shows that he can hang with the pace of grappling. And then I saw Sousa put it on.
Yeah, and against lower level competition too. I think Perez fought the much lower level competition at the lower level organization. It should be an easy pick for the Brazilian here as a 3-1 favorite. Good value on the line too. He's not overpriced. We're getting some value here, especially inside the distance. Now, the next fight, Prelim Tim, is pretty interesting here. Alik, Lorenz, big underdog, the biggest underdog this week, fighting a Russian from Chechen, Russia, represents Turkey, and he likes to wrestle. Wrestle. Will it work in this fight? Lorenz has power. He seems to have more heart on the feet. He will stand there and strike, but does he get knocked out? Does he get taken down, submitted? That's what I'm thinking in this fight. I think the wrestling and grappling is too much from the Chechen, and he gets him down and submits him. Likely early in this fight, but anything can happen on a Tuesday night. You got the biggest underdog fighting for a contract. He could easily land this first round knockout.
Yeah. So Yakhyaev is the biggest favorite on this one, and I think he probably should be the biggest favorite. He's probably the best prospect on this card. I'm not sure why he's really in the middle and not more in the main event. But, I mean, I don't know if you saw, but Lorenz got knocked out by Darion Abbey, the guy in the first fight. That 6'6" guy knocked Lorenz out. That's his knockout loss. So that's
his first pro fight? That was
something like that.
That was his second pro fight, yeah.
But that's not a good testament because Abbey is not even that aggressive of a striker. But so Yakhyaev, I think, has decent striking. Obviously, he's more of a wrestler, but I think he can strike too. So I think that Lorenz is potentially in trouble on the feet, and he's definitely in trouble on the ground because I watched another fight where Lorenz got taken down by a guy who's 5-7, and then that was the last fight that guy ever had professionally was against Lorenz. He never fought after that fight, but he picked him up and slammed him. And then took control of his legs right away. Lorenz managed to get up, and then he took him down again. So that guy wrestling Lorenz is not a good sign when he's going into the cage against somebody like Yakhyaev. So I agree with you. I think this one's probably going to be a submission. I might try to chase a round, like round 1 submission on this one. The props aren't out yet, so we'll have to see. But yeah, Yakhyaev's a pretty easy pick.
Yeah, Lorenz is a fish out of water on the ground. When he gets taken down, he's going to be done for it. Hopefully it's round 1 because this is the biggest favorite on the event. The only reason why I'm a little scared is because Lorenz looks like a pissed off ginger, if I'm being completely honest. He seems like a little bit of a brute. Might just stand there, walk forward, land a shot. You never know. It's Tuesday night. Dana White's sitting right there, pen in hand. What do we know? Last year, we seen some pretty big underdogs, Prelim Tim, and no one forecasted them to win. Remember that? I do.
Yes, yeah. There was a lot of upsets last year, and I was worried last week that maybe there would be something that somebody would be upsetting on that card because I was very confident in the favorites, but luckily it went our way, and we both picked the only underdog that won. So I'm hoping that this card turns out more like that. But
me too, but I don't want to spoil the party. I'm taking all favorites. I'm fiending favorites. We're going to talk about the 4th fight, co-main event. Prelim Tim, you start this one off.
Okay, so Barbosa, I talked about his history with Gabriel Santos already by accident. So that is a good fighter to have on your resume, especially going to decision with him. That's a high mark. And he's also the most experienced guy on this card. He has 60 wins, only 2 losses. He has 13 wins by KO. So that's a lot more than anybody else on this entire card has. He does look good. He looks to be primarily a striker, which I would prefer to see them mix it up a little bit more. But his striking's good. And then when you look at Wilson, he's a powerful guy. He's a little bit older, 32, which is kind of old for the Contender Series. There was really nothing bad I saw out of Wilson. Like I think he looks decent. There's no reason to really pick against him too confidently that I came across. So Barbosa being minus 375 is a little heavy, but I also don't think that Wilson was fighting the level of competition of like a Gabriel Santos, somebody with a 16-2 record like Barbosa. That would make me want to put my money behind him. So I am going to play Barbosa, probably only as a parlay piece, and he'll be my pick to win. But I think the line's probably a little wide, if I had to guess.
I actually love the line in this one, and I love Barbosa to win this fight inside the distance, Prelim Tim. You look at the last 3 fights for each fighter here. They're both on a 3-fight win streak. The level of competition is really wide in this matchup. Damon Wilson beat a guy 6-4 in his last fight, 12-10 before that, and 3-2 by a decision. Then we look at the other side. The win streak started with a nice win by knockout over a guy 13-2, Wellington Prado at LFA. Then he went out and knocked out another guy 8-2. After that, his most recent fight 9 months ago, knocked out a guy 10-3. The level of competition is far too wide in this fight. There is definitely a finish for the Brazilian. 100%. He's ready to go. And so is Sousa. They're both ready to go. They're my most confident picks this week, Prelim Tim. I love the number. I think it's generous. I think Wilson is not at the caliber. Look at the last 3 fights that he won. The level of competition is suspect for real. And Barbosa actually beat some pretty good guys.
Yeah, I agree with you on the resume.
Yeah, the resume is way better.
I just don't think I saw anything from Wilson excusing who he was fighting. I don't think he looked bad in the fights that I was watching. There was nothing that I could really pull out and say this is going to be a real problem for him against Barbosa. But I do think that Barbosa has a much more experience level, especially quality of experience. That's why I'm picking him. But I don't know. You could be right. Maybe the line is good. But
yeah, I think this is a levels fight here. I think we're going to see some levels in this one.
We'll see, yeah.
Yeah, Barbosa is ready to go. In the next one, not so confident in this Brazilian, Ryan Gandra versus Trent Miller. Trent Miller is training with Sean Strickland, Extreme Couture in Las Vegas. He's in shape, ready to go. He has power. He walks forward. He seems to be pretty durable, but the level of competition, not too great. Unfortunately, on the other side, the favorite is hard to trust with the looping shots. He doesn't like to punch a straight jab down the middle. He's always throwing wide, and he could get caught at any point. If he enters the UFC right now, he likely gets knocked out versus someone outside of the top 15. What do you think, Prelim Tim? I'm taking the Brazilian, but I'm not confident. He's going to have to land a knockout punch, and it's not going to be easy to do.
Yeah, I'm pretty much agreeing with you, except I think he could win by submission. I don't think that Trent Miller's grappling looks very good. And Gandra, I thought his grappling looked very strong. He has like very powerful looking takedowns, good control, takes him down hard. He looks good on top. He looks like he knows how to grapple, and that's not really what I saw watching Trent Miller. And the other problem with Miller is you see the Extreme Couture where he's training, like you were talking about, and you expect like, oh, this is good. Like maybe this guy is a good prospect. And then you watch him, and there's really nothing about him that really stands out other than he's a powerful guy. He looks pretty muscled up. Yeah. He throws big shots. Maybe he knocks Gandra out. But other than that, like he looks kind of slow. His grappling doesn't look very good at all. I don't know. It's just, it would be hard to trust somebody like Trent Miller, despite him coming out of Extreme Couture. Gandra does punch kind of wild. His striking looks kind of unpolished, like you were talking about. He punches like a grappler. Yeah. So, I mean, maybe Miller hits him with something big. I do think Gandra was getting hit a little bit too much in the fights that I watched for going against somebody with the knockout power like it looks like Miller has. But this is another one. It's kind of the theme of this card, I guess, where it seems like Gandra has just fought a better quality of opponents. He seems like maybe he's more ready for this level than Trent Miller looked to be in his tape. But, I mean, this is I think last week the main event was one of my least confident picks, and then this one is one of my more or lesser confident ones too. But I'm also I'm going to pick Ryan Gandra. What I'm going to look to bet on this fight when I can get the line is for the unders. I'm going to look at like the numbers for under 2.5 rounds, under 1.5 rounds, because I think this fight, because these guys are pretty reckless, I think it ends by finish one way or another. So that'll be my intended bet. I just have to see what kind of numbers I'll get for it.
And a sneaky prop you mentioned was Gandra by submission. You look at the 2 losses for Trent Miller, they're both by a submission. Gandra has 2 of them on the record. He could easily club and sub in this fight. It's live. Totally live.
Miller's grappling looks a little bit shaky to me. So, yeah.
Yeah, sneaky prop there. Gandra by a submission. It's a tricky event, but I think me and Prelim Tim will do tremendous. Week 3. Now we got a free bet coming right up. We got to double down on this one. We got Manoel, Sousa, Marcio, Barbosa inside the distance. Odds are not out yet, but when they're out, we're going to double down, and we're going to town. Prelim Tim, are you with me on this one?
Yeah, I'll have to see what kind of number it is, but I feel like these guys are going to go at it, and I think there's a pretty good shot this ends early. They're both pretty wild on the feet. I think that Sousa's more refined in his striking, but he's very aggressive, and then as Sousa's more wild. So we'll see. I think this one is more likely to probably end inside the distance as well.
Yeah, and if we can get plus money, that would be perfect. We can double up on a double down. That's what we're looking to do, Fight Fiends and Forecasters. Now it's time to like the video, subscribe, check out Prelim Tim, and check out Fight Fiend on all socials, Instagram, X. We got Discord absolutely free. Check the links in the description of this video. We're on Telegram, TikTok, Patreon. Prelim Tim, where can they find you?
Yeah, so I'm mainly on Instagram, Prelim Tim MMA, but I also do breakdowns on my Substack for the Contender series specifically. I break down the whole card. I pretty in depth. I watch fights for every single fighter, which I've talked about here on this show. So I have a pretty good idea going into it of who I like and what they look like. And I like to try to see if I think someone is a good grappler. I want to see their opponent face grappling, so I can try to pick an educated guess at who might win the competition. So that, and I also break down the main UFC fights. Right now, I'm taking a small break while the Contender series is on, and while I'm moving from breaking down the entire card, and I'm just breaking down the fights that I'm betting on right now. But we have a week off from the main UFC cards this week, so that doesn't really matter anyway. I'm guessing by the 13th, I will get back to full card breakdowns again. But for the 7th, I'll have just the fights that I'm betting on broken down again. But that's on Substack.com /@Prelim Tim.
And the links for Prelim Tim are also in that description below. Check them out. September 7th. You mentioned that date. That's my 26th birthday, Prelim Tim. We're going to have to party. Party Sunday night.
Remember. Yeah. So happy birthday in advance, but I should remember, and I'll say it again when it comes time.
Yeah, we're going live September 5th on Friday for the Prop Fiend show, 8 p.m. Eastern time. So everybody has to stay forecasted for that. UFC Paris is going to be a profitable event for Prelim Tim, Husky Hustler, and myself. Can't wait to talk about those fights. I've made all my predictions already, Prelim Tim, and I'm going to make a show early this week. I'm fired up for France.
That's good. That's good for the people to see it early. I have not made my predictions early. I'm very busy right now. Hopefully I'll get to it soon. But everybody watch Joseph's breakdown. He'll probably beat most people with it.
Let's go. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in this week for Dana White's Contender Series. Next week, week 4, Prelim Tim's probably going to be back, ready to attack. So you got to stay forecasted.
Yeah. Hopefully it's a little bit better card. I'm not super confident on this one as I'd like to be. And I don't think the quality of fighters is that really too high on this card. So hopefully next week we get a slightly better one.
Yeah, maybe next week is a much better event. The quality of fighters this week isn't really that good. They probably won't make out very good in the UFC, but we're going to have a great week and make some good money on these fights. I love those two fighters inside the distance. Sousa, Barbosa for the win.
I got to say the numbers, but I think my favorite bet is going to be Yakhyaev by submission. So, but we got to check it out. No numbers yet.
Yeah.
By the way, sorry. I'll post all my bets for the Contender Series tomorrow before the fights come out. On my Substack, I'll have my complete betting card written out.
Yeah, sneaky play there on the last fight too. Gandra by a submission. If you're looking to attack that, if there's value there, we're going to manage the bankroll wisely and put a couple units on that. Maybe a half unit, quarter unit, depending on the value. So join Patreon, $5 a month. You'll see each and every bet from Fight Fiend. And Prelim Tim, he's on Instagram, Substacks. He's going to post all of his bets this week, absolutely free. So check him out. Stay forecasted.